Hello. Yeah, this is my second time filming this. Yeah, the first time, we're not going to talk about it. Welcome back to another video on my channel. If you're new here, I'm Scotland, and I'm very excited to get to this video, honestly, because all summer, like we've talked about in my previous vlogs, I have had a horrible time reading, and it's just because every book on my TBR, my physical TBR, is fantasy related, and I just could not get myself to read a fantasy this summer. And I didn't want to buy any new books because I have too many books on my bookshelf already that I haven't read, and I really wanted to read my physical TBR, but all of them were fantasy, so if you see where we're going here, I wasn't in the mood to read any of them this summer. But now it's fall, my favorite season. I feel so alive every time fall comes around, and thankfully this time fall is actually feeling quite crisp outside in Texas. Usually it doesn't start to get a little chillier in Texas until about October, but it is currently September, early parts of September, and it's actually been like around 60 to 70 degrees a couple of days this week, so I'm very excited. As you can tell, I'm doing my fall TBR, of course, but I'm also going to do my reading journal and update my fall TBR page, and maybe do a couple extra pages that I need to fill out as well. I'm not too sure though, but definitely I will be doing my fall TBR page. With that being said, let's go ahead and start off with the books that I'm hoping to read this fall, which to my description, fall is like September, October, parts of November, like not really the whole November, because we all know halfway through November it's like Christmas at that point, to then it's winter at that point, and so then that'll be my winter TBR. So this is a very ambitious TBR, but I think I can do it. My first book that I have that I think I've recently talked about already is Babel. This book has been on my TBR for years. Yeah, it's been on my TBR for years. In the last video, I think I read part of this book and then I put it down because I started reading a different book. So I'm really loving the parts that I am in this book. It's just like a very dense book that has a lot of information, beautifully written. There's a couple of characters that I really love and adore already. It's just one of those books that I want to really take my time with and not like rush through it, just to be able to say I finished it. So I'm not mad that I haven't completely finished this quite yet, but I would like this book to no longer be on my TBR come the end of the year. I've also talked about this book a couple of times on my channel. It's called The God of Endings by Jacqueline Holland. It's a book about a woman who is struggling with her immortality as she comes to terms with being a vampire, and while she's come to terms with that, she's also, I believe, a teacher, and she forms this really close relationship with an orphan. And so it's a very interesting conversation of like humanity and like supernatural, and I think that's going to be really, really fun to read this fall. But also I'm pretty sure this is more of a literary fiction book and not actual like horror based, so I think it's going to be way more character driven than it is plot driven, which is totally fine by me, but also knowing that that's going to take me a while to get through as well. I'm sure I'm really going to love this book, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. So I have a car. So I have very limited knowledge of what this book is actually about, but those two elements of it being literary fiction and a vampire had me hooked. So those are two like slightly fantasy books, but like not really. One book that's just 100% not fantasy at all is Their Eyes Are Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. This book has also been on my bookshelf for quite a while, but basically this is like another classic that I have never read before. I'm not really a classic reader. We'll talk about this more in the next book, but I realized that this is definitely one of those books that like I can't live in my 20s and not have ever read it. So I need to read this soon, and it's very short. Like I think it's something that will be easy to get through this fall, and I think more than the story, the cover makes me feel like it's a fall time book, so I'm looking forward to reading this. I also have this book, The Children of Blood and Bone by Tome Ademe. I'm really sorry. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce her name, but this is a book that I have also, I think, previously talked about in like my last vlog about wanting to get it, and then I was able to finally find the first and second book in hardcover during half price books like Labor Day sale, so another win for me as always. I have heard about this book for so long, and for some reason I had no interest in reading it. I really don't know why. Like, I loved reading Legendborn. I really flew through that book. And then Bloodmark, I didn't really love as much just because I didn't love where the story was going or how the story was crafted, and I think that kind of left a spoiled taste in my mouth, to be honest, towards young adult fantasy books. But I've heard nothing but great things about this book, and I've also seen that I think it's being picked up for either a series or a movie. I will say that what really got me to read this book is that I've really gotten onto the side of book talk that is very, very adamant about people diversifying their reading, and I looked at my bookshelf and I was like, not me being Black and not having a diverse bookshelf, like that was a real reality check for me. So I am really trying to lean more into reading diversely, and I think, like, not just because like this book is a diverse book, but I think it's a good book on its own, and it just happens to be with characters that look like me. So I'm really excited to read this, and I've heard really, really, really good things about it. I don't know what it was that was like a mental block for me reading this, but I'm glad that I'm finally there and I'm like with the crowd with reading it. And I also read like maybe the first chapter or two, and it starts off so quickly. It's an easy way to get into the book. I love that it's not like a slow, like, let me give you all the information of the world first. Like, it just goes immediately into it. So I think I'm really gonna love this. And I also, like I said, have the second book already on my shelf, so I'll be able to continue to go through the series as I finish this one. Also, that I got it in hardcover for like $7. You can't beat half price. You really can't. After I just said my whole spiel about reading diversely, please don't come for me. I feel like we're all very aware at this point about my love for Harry Potter. Like, I think I've announced it to quite literally anyone who will listen to me that I love that movie series so much that I think I probably watch it anywhere between 1 to 2 times front to back every month. And I always do it because at some point during every month, NBC Universal channels will have like a movie marathon weekend of all of the Harry Potter, like all of the Harry Potter universe movies, either on Bravo, Sci-Fi, or USA. So like there's always some way for me to watch this movie at least once or twice a month, and I love watching it on any of the Peacock channels because it has like the deleted scenes included with them. So I've seen the movies quite a bit. I've seen them a lot. I can sit there and like say the lines and everything, but I have never read the books. I've never read the books, and I think it's finally time for me to cross that threshold. I tried to cross that threshold quite a while ago, like I want to say almost 8 years ago, and I had bought the first book in paperback, and I immediately put it down because it was in third person, and at the time I hated reading third person, and I still kind of don't like it. It's not my favorite point of view to read from, but I've grown to like appreciate it a bit more. So I'm very excited to start off with this series. I am slowly trying to collect the hardcovers and like the original hardcovers, but I just already have this one and I want to read it soon, so I'm going to start with the paperback and then go find the hardcover at some point. But I'm very excited for that one. We've talked about these. We've talked about them so much, okay? Like, we really don't need to talk that much about them, but I am reading the tandem read for Throne of Glass, which I believe collectively is like 1,000 pages. And I usually only read about one Throne of Glass book a month because I wasn't really enjoying them in the beginning, and then I was really enjoying them, and then it was summer, so it was like, I'm not reading this anymore. And I was also very intimidated by the tandem read, but I'm about 1/3 of the way of the tandem read in, and I'm loving it. I'm having a great time. I'm like, all throughout the day, I'm like, I want to read. I want to read so bad. I want to sit down and read and do nothing else, but I can't. And then also, I will say that there are some character point of views in here that I just really don't care about. I really don't care about them, but I know like maybe further down the line, I will start to care about them. I'm just not quite there yet, but I'm having a great time reading this, and I hope to finish this at least by the end of October. I'm definitely not going to finish it this month, but I know this is going to take me a while, so I think this is going to be like the book that I read while I read all the rest of them, if that makes sense. Those are the books that I hope to read for fall. Now that we have gotten that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and update my reading journal in the next clip. I'm actually on my lunch break right now during work. It is a work day, it's Wednesday. So if you heard all of those dings, that's people being like, where you at, girl? It's time to come back. So I have to go back and finish work, but I'll definitely catch back up with you guys later while I'm doing my reading journal, and probably do like a little overview of me updating that. But
can you feel it, honey? Can you feel it, honey? Now you're way past that. All that bad, 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 bad. So bad, 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 bad. Can you see it, honey? Can you see it? See you past the trouble. Now you know the meaning of it all. It all. Didn't think it happened so soon, but that one afternoon you finally moved on. Letting go of all that he said and finally cared for yourself. You really moved on. And I feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it. I feel it, I feel it. Ooh. It's gonna be the ending of all that's bad. From now on, let's just leave it all in the past and look how good we are. No more bleeding, can't you see you're healing? Hold on to that feeling, 'cause I know you're gonna get it right, 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 right. So right, 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 right. Didn't need it, now you didn't need it. Didn't even feel it. Told me like 100 times out loud, 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 loud. Making me proud, 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 proud. 7 days a week, 7 days a week. You've been ill for too long. 7 days a week, 7 days a week. But now you moved on. And I feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it. I feel it, I feel it. Ooh. It's gonna be the ending of all that's bad. From now on, let's just leave it all in the past and look how good we are.
hello, I just finished my reading journal. It's a couple of days later, actually. It's quite a while later. I started filming the reading like journal part of this probably like after work one day, I think maybe Thursday, and went to bed. But it's now Sunday and I'm starting another video, but I wanted to go ahead and finish this one. I did my little reading pages, which I think I'm not going to show like me actually the completed version of them, because I always like to do an end of the year reading journal flip through. But I love my reading journal. It's slowly filling up. Like I only have about a quarter of the pages left. Like I only have about this many pages left. And it's just so much fun. If you haven't done a reading journal before, I think it's really good just for practice of like letting go. I think is what really my issue when it comes with journaling, and like perfection of like wanting it to be exactly how I imagined in my head. And it's nice because I can't really do that with my journal. Like I have to just go with the flow and hope that like my creativity will pull it all together the way that I want it to look. And it's really therapeutic. It's nice to do something that's not on screen and like just completely detach from like looking at a screen for a couple of hours. So I did that. I finished that this morning. Speaking of a screen, the last thing I want to do is go ahead and put the stickers back on my Kindle. I have a ton of stickers, and I'm gonna be honest, they're not really stickers. A lot of the times I just find like pictures and stuff that I like on Pinterest, and then I print them out on like either a sticker paper or like a cardstock paper or just regular paper. And did I say cut them or print them? I print them out and then I cut them into sticker form. So this is like a little Charles Leclerc one from F1. I don't know if it'll focus, but I really love that one. So yeah, I just find them online and I just cut them out because I don't have the time or the money to be spending on stickers, to be honest. It's just not really something I want to spend my money on. But I want them. So I have like a ton of them that I've just like used from whenever. But I think I wanted to do like a fall themed one, but I think I've mentioned this like way too many times at this point that I'm not spending money in September. Like I'm trying to budget myself. So I can't really print out anything new. So I'm just going to use what I already have, which I'm pretty happy with what I have already. So the theme is not going to be real fall themed, but it's going to be real pink, which is, are we surprised? I don't think we're surprised. So let's just go ahead and do it. But this is going to be the end of the video. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed it and got some. Oh wait, I just remembered I didn't talk about the movies, my movies page, which is something I actually did want to do. I didn't talk about this page. I don't know if it'll focus. Hopefully it does. But I added a little like movies I want to watch in like October, like September to October. And I think this is really nice. I've also like really been trying to watch diversely. Like I've talked about with like my reading, of diversifying my reading, but also diversifying my movies. And I've kind of gotten to that point in life where I'm like, it's kind of hard to be like, I don't want to watch anything that doesn't have a black person in it, because then that will leave a very small margin of things that I could watch that are like current and new right now, which is so unfortunate, but it's just the truth. But I want to go back and like really start to watch movies that are really pivotal in like black culture and like things that I just haven't really interacted with before. And I don't really like, for no real reason other than just, I don't know, like just not thinking about it too much. But I really want to be more specific and intentional about the things that I'm watching and the things that I like I'm using to, I don't know, influence my own creativity. And so not to be like I'm gonna watch a whole bunch of like these horror specific movies that I've picked for like the fall TBR or the fall watch list are gonna really influence what I want to do, because I don't really want to work in thriller or horror film. But I think it's just a really nice first step into like getting more ingrained with what my own people, like my own culture has contributed to the industry. So that's my little tidbit about that. But I have like Candyman, like the original one that I haven't seen before. I've seen like the remake that Jordan Peele did recently, but I want to watch the original. And also a lot of these are just originals that I want to watch. For one, I want to watch the original Blade with Wesley Snipes. I've never seen it before, and I know they're working on a new one that I believe Mahershala Ali just let go of. A couple years ago, I think he was at a show, like one of the award shows, and said that he wanted to do the new Blade remake. But I think I read recently that he just let go of the project because it had been held up for so long, because he didn't like any of the scripts that the producers were giving him. So in order to no longer stall the project, I think he just let go of the project, and they're now searching for a new Blade. Anywho, I want to watch the Blade movies. I haven't seen them before. And then of course I have The Wild Robot, which is one that I'm working on right now at work, which I think is so freaking cute. I love the trailer so much. I think all of the ads are so cute. And if you have seen The Wild Robot on any of the things that you like on social media or anything, and you're like kind of like, do I want to go see it, I think you should go see it, because I think it's so cute. Like it's just so cute, and I can't wait to see it. So I have that on my watch list as well. And then also Speak No Evil. It's another Universal film, but this is the American remake. I want to watch the original. I think it's a Danish film. I think it's originally made in, I don't know, Danish is Denmark, right? Like, I don't really remember what country the movie originated from, but I know it's an original movie. Like, our movie is the remake. So I want to watch the original movie. And I was planning on watching it before I went to go see like the new movie that came out this weekend, but I just haven't been able to find it anywhere to watch for free. And I already pay for a lot of streaming services. Why would I pay to watch a movie? So, you know, like, so I want to watch Speak No Evil. And I think I also talked about in my last vlog about wanting to see The Front Room, which I didn't go see it because I was really tired and also worked really late that week. But I still want to see The Front Room before it leaves theaters, because like I said in the last vlog, like, it's so important for us to see movies that we really like or really anticipating or really wanting to see during opening week, because that's like the biggest indicator to the industry or to the people who are making the films that people are interested in them. So if you don't see them within like the first week or two, it's really hard for like those directors and those creators to go back and be like, my movies are important, they deserve to be made. I know I'm saying all of this because I didn't go see it opening week, but I urge everyone else to. So I'm really trying to be better about seeing the movies that I really love and like want to support, like more original IP ideas, or IP, which is just intellectual property, more original ideas in theaters. And I really want to see them like opening weeks. Like, that's something I'm really challenging myself to do, because I've also noticed, we're going on a tangent here, like a tandem here, but I've noticed that the bed is such an energy viper. Like, it's such like an energy viper, an energy vampire, whatever you want to call it. I'm so sick of laying down. Like, I really do nothing else but lay down, read, work, and I'm like actually so tired of it. And it's just like really makes me feel so tired, and like I don't want to do anything even though I've slept for like a very long time. And I'm like, okay, like, we need to get some activity in here. I can't keep like laying down all the time. And I say all of this because a lot of the times I will have like this big plan to go to the movie theater, like go see a movie, and then I'll just like spend just like a little too long laying down and decide that I don't want to go anymore. But like, I do want to go, I just don't want to get up. So like, that's something I'm really battling with right now that I'm trying to get over. But I say all of that to say I'm going to try to do a lot better about seeing original movies in theater opening weekend. So I'm planning to see The Front Room this week, because I think this is its third week out, and I'm pretty sure it's also its last week out. So I really want to make sure I see that movie ASAP. Unfortunately, I also wanted to see The Crow because I watched the original one, and I wanted to see the new one, but the aforementioned situation I just explained has hindered me from ever seeing The Crow in theaters, because it's not in theaters anymore. So that's very annoying for me, but it's okay. So I have it on like my little fall TBR watch list still, but I really am not sure how I'm going to watch that at this point, because it's going to be a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months before it's streaming on anything. And like I also just said, I don't want to rent anything well on streaming, because I pay for so many streaming services. Like, I don't want to pay as well anyhow. So yeah, we'll see when that actually gets watched. The last two I have is also the original Shaft movie. I watched the new Shaft, and by new I mean like it came out 24 years ago, with Samuel L. Jackson. I think I watched it a couple of weeks ago just like on a whim, and it was really good. Like, I loved it so much. Jeffrey Wright was so incredible in that movie. I was like, whoa, we have been sleeping on him for way too long. And by we, I actually mean me, because I'm pretty sure everybody really loves him. And if you don't know who that is, it's the one who, he was the one who starred in American Fiction that won Best Screenplay at the Oscars this last season. So if you haven't seen the remake of Shaft that came out, I think in 2000s, in like the 2000s with Samuel L. Jackson, definitely recommend. It was a really fun time. It was a very it was a very fast-paced movie, and it had a really good storyline. And I think while sometimes the story got a little lost, I think Jeffrey Wright's performance just really carried the entire movie, to be honest. He did almost like every scene that he was in, he stole it. So I love that man down bad now. And then the last movie I have that I want to see is The Substance, starring Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley. I'm pretty sure I talked about this in my last vlog, but I hadn't heard anything about this movie. And then I went to go see, I think it was Strange Darling, and the trailer played before the movie started, and it looked so good. And also a co-worker of mine was telling me about the trailer, and that's what also interested me in seeing it. But it comes out this week actually, so I think I'm gonna do like a whole little horror thing this week at the movie theaters, because I want to see Speak No Evil, The Front Room, and The Substance, and they are all out in theaters should be in theaters this week. So I think I might actually do like all three of my movies be those movies this week. So yes, okay, now we're done. I want to talk about those movies because I totally forgot about it. But anyhow, like I said, we're gonna do my Kindle now, and this is gonna be the end of the video. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much. Also, let me know in the comments down below what movies or books you're looking forward to reading and watching this fall season. I really want to know because I love fall so much. We've talked about it so much already, but I really want to, I probably won't add anything to the TBR because I'm a slow reader. We've talked about this, but I will definitely add a movie. If you like have a movie that you are so in love with that you watch every fall season, let me know in the comments down below. I will probably watch it. Like, that's so easy for me to do. So anywho, let's do my Kindle, and I'll see you in the next one.